Did you know that for the ancient Romans, justice wasn't just about fairness? It was often about brutal spectacle? We're all familiar with the grand image of Rome, the legions, the emperors, the aqueducts. But lurking beneath this veneer of civilization was a legal system with a dark underbelly, one where punishments were designed not just to deter crime, but to inflict unimaginable suffering, especially on the lower classes. Stick around until the very end, because the number one punishment we'll uncover will absolutely shock you. Roman society was rigidly hierarchical, and this social structure permeated every aspect of their lives, including their legal system. Roman citizens, particularly those of higher status, often enjoyed certain protections under the law, including more lenient forms of punishment. However, for slaves, foreigners, and the vast lower classes, justice was a far more savage affair. Their punishments were designed to be public, agonizing, and serve as a terrifying warning against challenging Roman authority. The disparity in how justice was meted out highlights a fundamental inequality at the heart of Roman society. One of the most infamous Roman punishments was crucifixion. Far more brutal than a simple execution, crucifixion was a slow, agonizing death typically reserved for slaves, rebels, and the most despised criminals. The victim would be nailed or tied to a cross, left to hang in public view. Death usually resulted from suffocation as the body's weight made breathing increasingly difficult. This excruciating process could last for days, serving as a potent symbol of Roman power and a grim deterrent to any thoughts of defiance. Another horrifying punishment was damnatio ad bestis, or condemnation to the beasts. This gruesome spectacle involved throwing unarmed individuals into an arena filled with wild, often starved, animals such as lions, tigers, and bears. The ensuing carnage was a popular form of public entertainment, a brutal display of dominance where the lives of the condemned were deemed utterly expendable. This practice underscores the Roman disregard for the suffering of those deemed outside the circle of citizenship for Roman citizens. While physical torture was often avoided, punishments could still be severe and deeply impactful. Exile, or acqui et ignis interdictio, the prohibition of water and fire, was a devastating penalty. It meant the loss of citizenship, confiscation of property, and banishment from Roman lands, effectively turning the individual into a social outcast. Even more chilling was damnatio memoria, the condemnation of memory, a punishment aimed at erasing a person from history. Their statues would be destroyed, their names removed from public inscriptions, and their legacy actively suppressed. Now, let's delve into a punishment so bizarre and brutal it might sound like a myth: the Poena Cullei, or the punishment of the sack. Reserved for the particularly heinous crime of parricide, the murder of a parent, this punishment involved sewing the condemned person into a leather sack along with a bizarre menagerie of live animals, typically a rooster, a dog, a monkey, and a snake. The sack would then be sealed and thrown into the nearest body of water, usually the Tiber River. The symbolism of this grotesque act, with the animals representing the disruption of the natural order, added another layer of horror to an already unimaginable fate. The screams and thrashing within the sack as the animals and the condemned struggled in their watery grave must have been a truly terrifying spectacle. While much of our understanding of Roman punishments comes from historical texts and archaeological evidence, the principles of deterrence and public spectacle remain relevant in discussions about modern justice systems even in 2025. contemporary debates on capital punishment, the treatment of prisoners, and the role of media in crime and punishment echo some of the underlying themes present in Roman society. However, the sheer brutality and the stark inequalities inherent in Roman justice serve as a stark contrast to the ideals of fairness and human rights that underpin modern legal systems in places like Sargada, Punjab, Pakistan, and across the globe. Recent advancements in forensic science and historical analysis continue to shed light on the realities of Roman life, including their methods of punishment. For example, ongoing archaeological digs may uncover further evidence of execution sites or the remains of those subjected to these brutal penalties, providing a more tangible understanding of these historical accounts. Additionally, comparative studies between ancient legal systems and modern practices continue to inform our understanding of the evolution of justice and the enduring impact of historical precedents. The Romans, for all their contributions to law, governance, and engineering, also left behind a legacy of incredible cruelty within their justice system. The disparities in punishment based on social class, the emphasis on public spectacle, and the sheer brutality of methods, like crucifixion and the Poena Cullei, serve as a stark reminder of a darker side of this influential civilization. As we reflect on the achievements of Rome in 2025, it's crucial to also acknowledge the profound injustices that were deeply embedded within its social and legal structures. The number one most shocking punishment? Perhaps it's the very system itself, designed to inflict terror and maintain control through unimaginable suffering, particularly for those with the least power. The Poena Cullei, with its bizarre and horrific elements, stands as a potent symbol of this brutal reality.